Hello friends, Joe Lynch here from the Logistics of Logistics, but today I am at Manifest Day 2 and I'm talking to my friend Gary Allen from Ryder. Gary, please introduce yourself and your company.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about Ryder.
Yeah, hey Joe, good to see you again. We need to do this in Michigan since we both live in Michigan and we wait every year to get here, but enjoying Manifest. So I'm Gary Allen, Vice President of Supply Chain Excellence at Ryder. My responsibilities include solution design, continuous improvement, analytics, automation, basically support functions that drive optimization and efficiency across Ryder on the supply chain division. Ryder's a big company. Joe, you know, we get bigger every year. We keep acquiring companies, but a lot of people think Ryder is more of a fleet management company. We do a lot more of that. We do lease, rent, maintain a lot of trucks. We have hundreds of thousands of trucks on the road, but that division is about 45% of our revenue. On our supply chain side, it's approaching about 60% of our revenue. And globally, we're about 12 to 13 billion in revenue. So we're getting bigger, Joe. Yep. On the warehouse side, we have about 300 warehouses, a little over 100 million square feet. We buy 10 billion in freight. We have 15,000 drivers, and you name it. We pretty much do it across supply chain from port to door.
So I interviewed somebody from Ryder not so long ago, and they said, since we lease out so many trucks to all the companies, we have a unique insight into where the market is going.
Yeah.
And, you know, last 2 years, feels like 10 years, there's been a freight recession.
Yeah.
And you guys have a feel for it more so than anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Since we lease and rent and maintain so many trucks, it first starts really with the fleet side of the business. We can see in trends going back over the last 2 years around freight flows and freight volumes, right? When maintenance is down, when rental, it's usually rental that hits first. And then it goes to full service lease and then maintenance, kind of in that order. And yeah, I don't know about 10 years. I mean, last year was a tough year.
Feels like 10.
Last year was the worst year really in many years. And you're right, it starts with the asset side of the business, and then it cascades into brokerage and purchase transportation. Yeah. The warehousing side of it was stable though last year. The good news this year, we're already seeing an uptick. It's coming back.
So, am I wrong to say you look at all the new tech in your purview? Is that part of your job?
Yeah, what I'd say is we work with our product strategy group and we work with IT, but my team is focused on really any type of solution that drives efficiency and optimization, right? It's all about doing more with what we have, getting better every year. So that could be analytics, it could be building out AI, it could be doing automation in a warehouse, it can be automation on the transportation side of it, it could be the yard of the future, but it's all around driving efficiencies and optimization, Joe.
So the thing that got me excited when we talked last week was humanoids.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of people talk about automation. Ryder is talking about humanoids. Please tell me what you guys are up to.
Yeah, so we're actively engaged with about 5 or 6 manufacturers. What I'd say is we will be piloting really our first use case in the humanoid side of it. It's going to be with one of our partners in the back half of this year in more of a lab setting. And that might be more like value added, more like case pick, assembly, taking parts out of a box. What I'd say with humanoids, it's still early innings. I mean, it's sexy, it's cool. I want one at home. I know, but well, the interesting thing is they want to get the price point down to about $55,000, and that would be pretty much at par with really a human what we pay our employees.
So it's. Am I wrong to say this? We have a labor shortage.
We do.
Good people. And the idea that, you know, if somebody said to you and you didn't have skills and you said, I'm going to go to a warehouse and I'm going to be lifting heavy boxes and wandering around, walking 10 miles a day.
Yeah.
No one wants that job.
Right.
Because they know there's a warehouse down the street that's got tech, and ideally I work with a humanoid.
Yeah. You know, one of the most ideal, and it's not ready yet for humanoids, you know the term lumping, like lumping services like tires. Or lumping it. Yeah. That is probably the hardest and the worst job. Nobody wants to lump.
It's just unloading.
It's unloading, you know, loading, unloading, and it's so physically dominating. But no, it's still early innings. What I'd say is we're testing. You know, I don't think it's going to be ready in the next few years. They go about the half the speed. Each manufacturer has like a different focus. Some are focused on hand movements, right, to get to eaches. Others are more with the feet and dexterity and moving and lifting.
So you guys are assessing all of the technologies out there.
So, part of working with our product strategy group, my automation team, we look at probably about 150 to 200 new technologies every year.
So you're kind of, and then you pilot it, or what do you
pilot it. The way we look at technology is what's ready now that can serve a particular use case for our customers that drive value. But then we're keeping an eye on what's coming, and the humanoids is coming in the future.
Well, I'm an automotive guy, as you know, originally.
Right.
And I know we would always pilot something in one plant, and then if it worked, do it in the next plant. Most automotive companies don't have, I don't know how many warehouses you guys have. But
300 plus.
And some of them are dedicated to certain customers.
100%, yep.
But you can't say, let's roll this out across everything. You have to pilot it one place. Okay, we think this is going to work in 10% of our.
That's right. And keep in mind, we serve every industry and vertical, right? What retail needs is different than automotive. It's different than CPG, different than healthcare, different than e-commerce, right? So we have all these different segments. And the profile of that customer, whether they ship eaches, cases, full pallet loads, is completely different. So the technology varies. But yeah, Joe, we're going to test and pilot. And most of the pilots fail, right? Most of the pilots don't even work out.
Your place than
it fail fast, move on. But while we're doing that, and we have a budget for R&D and testing and all that, but while we're doing that, there's solutions in the warehouse and in the transportation side around automation that's ready now, and it's driving value. And the ROI is shorter now, right? It's like 3 to 5 years typically.
Yeah, let's talk about that automation. By the way, I should also mention before I forget, 2 years ago, I met you here at Manifest, and I interviewed you, and I told you, being an automotive guy, I was positive that Ryder was based in Detroit and that it was all automotive. It's less, it's what, half your business?
Oh, it's less than half our business,
What's interesting to me is how much you guys do in e-commerce, and I feel like, maybe it's just because I'm so biased on automotive, you guys do a ton of e-commerce.
We do, and we recently acquired a company called Whiplash, which it became our e-commerce offering. But before that, we acquired a last mile company, right? And then recently, we just acquired a co-packaging, co-manufacturing company that gets into blending and
freight brokerage too.
Freight brokerage, and then we bought a dedicated transfer. So we're looking actively to acquire where we have a selective fit around a need or a capability. But what I'd say is we service every vertical. There's not one vertical we don't service. And automotive's still at our core. On the supply chain side, it's probably about 30% of our revenue.
It is still the biggest, baddest supply chain on earth, and I think if you can do that well, you can do anything well. Which leads me to, we're here at Manifest. Everything's about tech, which is cool. But one of the things being an automotive guy, I know I've been in Ryder facilities and other facilities where so much kitting and value-added services are being done. And I don't think people recognize the importance of that to big supply chains. Talk about a little bit about that.
Yeah, we do all sorts of value-added services. It could be kitting. On the automotive, since you're an automotive guy, we actually do pre-assembly. We'll actually assemble parts, kit them, and then we actually deliver them to the assembly line. So automotive's probably got
color-coded, so you can't bring the wrong color seat to that car.
Yeah, it's all sequenced, right? But even outside of that, like the co-packaging company, right, we will actually make stuff. We'll blend stuff, right? So it's all value added. So we're looking at where can we add value and find the problems that our customers have to solve those for them.
So I want to wrap this bad boy up, but first, I know we've been wandering around Manifest. What was interesting to you? What blew you away here today?
Yeah, I think it's the people. I think it's the mix of shippers, customers, providers, supplier, tech companies. I mean, there's a million tech companies, but it's not just tech companies. So I think it's the blend of all of those entities getting together, the sessions and the exposition. So it's really a combination
It's interesting because I know you guys mentioned some acquisitions.
Yeah.
I suspect somebody in this building is going to be acquired by Ryder this year.
Maybe. I can't say definitively yes, but we're always on the lookout, Joe. So
I know
if you got any good leads, let us know.
I sure will.
Yeah.
Gary, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.